people want your spot. And even if somebody doesn't, you need to build confidence enough to know within yourself that where I'm at, it should be a spot where somebody else wants to be.
Yeah.
When you think of it like that, that's when you fight for it more. Mm-hmm. That's when I feel like that's when the passion is more passion in it.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes we lollygag. And we think, oh, yeah, I'm an expert. Me being a braider. Yes, I braid very well. I do. But at the same time, I got to stay humble. Because there's a lot of other braiders. It's a lot of other braiders.
Right.
I do have a lot of competition. That doesn't hinder me. That doesn't scare me or stop me. But I do need to be aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just to make sure that I'm making a solid choice. That's because when I'm aware of that, I'm making more solid choices.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Through my journey. If we're speaking about hair. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
You gotta go at your pace, go at your level. You know? Just
becoming more
aware. Staying in your lane.
But being aware of there are other lanes. There are other people in their lanes doing their thing. And yes, they can probably take your spot. But what I like to remember that what's for you is always for you. No one can take it. No one can get in my spot. My only competitor would be me. Mm-hmm. How can I be better than I was last year or yesterday?
But think about it like this. Have you, and if this is not you, I'm not talking to you. But if this is you, have you lost that job? Have you ever lost that job where it was like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm. I think we all have.
Because, and if you think back about why you even got fired, it's because you got lazy, right? It's because you got lazy. Start lollygagging a little bit here and there. You know, you wasn't showing up on time like you was when it was your first day, your first week, you know?
Yeah.
First month or so, you know?
You were replaced.
You wasn't taking long, you know, you wasn't taking an extra 5 minutes on the lunch, you know, at first, you know, but, you know, you wasn't taking supplies from the office at first, you know? Mm-hmm. And then, you know what I'm saying, it's like, we get fired and it's like, what the hell?
You were taking advantage of the situation that you had.
Right. So I always come in with a mindset is it's me versus me. Okay? The way that it's at like a relationship, right? The way you start that relationship is how you kind of got to continue. Mm-hmm. I mean, over the years.
So it's best to be who you are. Don't be lollygagging.
Okay.
You ain't gonna lollygag in the beginning of a relationship, but know who you are and what you bring to the table, so that way you can continue that and stay consistent.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
not be.
It's much easier.
Oh, you don't do this like you used to do before, and
we've heard that before. I know I have. Right.
I try to stay consistent.
Not by myself.
But yeah.
Yeah. I'm here to manipulate your mind and your way of thinking. So manipulation is not always a bad thing. Manipulation is bad when it's insidious, hidden. Inside of Life Strategies book that he wrote, he's going to give us some little things that he kind of took out of there, some gems. And so he said, create my own experience. I get what I give. It's really as simple as that, guys. For real. You have to start living life, treating people how you want to be treated. Okay? If you don't want to be treated that way, then do not put that out. If you wouldn't want a response like that, don't put it out. Because it will come back. Okay? And that's what we're trying to avoid. You know what I mean?
And then just be prepared to be in your truth even when you still get done wrong. Because people are still human. I don't want you thinking that just because you're going through... Because I used to think like that. I'm going through life. I'm doing people how I think I should be treated. But I still get done shitty. Straight out. Like you would have thought I didn't fucked over some people. But that's life. People hurt people. And that's what I had to realize. It doesn't mean I should change up and start treating other people shitty. It just means I should stay even harder in me. I'm not that type of person. I'm going to treat you how I'm still going to treat you how I want to be treated. And if you can't treat me that way, we just cut off at that point. So,
I mean, to comment on what you said, I feel like, because she said I am a little too truthful. Mm-hmm. I be feeling that way too.
I don't think there's a such thing. I think it's just the people you've been
around. But
it's
not a such thing. I'm learning that.
It's not a such thing as being too truthful. When you're coming from a place of love, it depends on where you're coming from. You have to be aware of who you are. And some people are just being straight, you just being mean and hateful and hurtful. Mm-hmm. We're not here to do that.
Yep.
I'm coming from a place of love. And when you're doing that, then there's no such thing as being too truthful. I feel like you should use your discernment on whether or not you should talk about that. Sometimes I'll be trying to help people out and be like, oh, let me help you out and explain this, explain that. And they don't need my help, right? They didn't ask. They are figuring it out and going through their own world. And that's, be okay with that. All right. Yeah. Sometimes I need to not say nothing. Yeah. Just let them go through what they need to go through. Until they come and ask. And then you're going to be real with them. Right. Be truthful with them. Because you would want someone to be truthful with you. Mm-hmm. It may hurt. It's usually going to hurt because you're shattering that person's illusion. Your illusion that whatever you romanticized and created around yourself, it's being shattered. So yes, it's going to hurt a little bit, but you have to also know that, you know what, this person is just coming out of love. They're not trying to hurt me. They're not trying to tear me down. They're just trying to let me get a different perspective, get you out that box you built around yourself. Yeah. So, no, when you're coming from a place of love, I really don't think there's no such thing as you being too truthful. Keep being truthful. As long as you're coming from a place of love. And if they can't take it and they do go a different route with that, okay, well, you back away.
Right. Nah, for real. Because you want to create a group of like-minded people. Mm-hmm. And that's just saying that person isn't quite like-minded as you.
And that's okay. They just need to... They're not ready to be where you're at right now.
Right. They're not on your level, sis. They're not on your level. They're not ready. So at that point, you're at that crossroad, and that's when you need to make that life decision, right? Yeah. Because you don't want to be in a limbo. You want to
You don't want to be walking on eggshells. Oh, I can't talk about this to this person. I can't. Oh, I got to perceive. And then that's the one thing I used to do, too. And I think that's like a Sagittarius thing to where you have different pieces that you give certain people.
Yeah.
Instead of just being my full authentic self with everyone I come across.
Right.
Why do I have to give just pieces of myself? Oh, they won't take this part, so let me just let me switch it up a little bit. I gotta stop doing that. You get all of this, and if you can't take all of it,
because that's it. I mean, she's basically saying when you get to that friend, you act this certain way, but when you get over to Shamika's house, it's
this way. And it's not necessarily me being fake. It's just me. I know how that person is, and I'm like, they'll do better with this personality. Mm-hmm. They'll do better with this personality. Yeah. But now it's like sometimes I have to be okay. I'm really a quiet person. I know I like to talk when I'm comfortable, when I'm in that environment and in that safe space. And sometimes I am quiet, and it's for a reason. I used to hate that about myself, and it would force me to try to just talk. You ain't gotta talk about nothing. I can sit there quietly, and my silence will be just as loud.
Okay.
I'm fine. Mm-hmm. In my own world. I'm okay with that. And I have to be okay with that. Mm-hmm. Because y'all need to be okay with that. Yeah. If you need to be quiet, it's for a reason. Be in that moment.
Yep.
Observe.